Hey everybody, and welcome back to the RGR Football Channel. My name's Daniel Harms. Today, I'm hoping to take some of the negativity out of the Chiefs Twitter, or Chiefs atmosphere as it would be. Yes, it's a terrible, no good, very bad, rotten loss to have to deal with in the second week of the season, but eventually that's all going to have to just subside. There are some bright spots to really look at. I hope you enjoyed the Byron Pringle touchdown breakdown I did yesterday. It was a lot of fun. It was one of my favorite plays of the offense. It was one of my favorite plays of the game, to be honest with you, outside of the Travis Kelce insane, almost like the Marshawn Lynch run where he was just unstoppable, going everywhere he wanted to. So that was a lot of fun to watch, to break down the Byron Pringle touchdown. Hopefully he can get more snaps going forward. Now we're going to flip to the other side of the football, where the bright spot for me, with all the negatives known about Nick Bolton, is that you're seeing the game start to slow down at times for him. For a rookie, a second round pick specifically, it's hard for that to happen. So I like to see that he's got some things under his wheels. This is an offense that's very, very difficult for any defense to plan for. They use so many different formations. They pull so many different guys. They run opposites where they pull. They do so many different things to confuse defense that when you can see Nick actually get downhill and do the things that he does best, which is use his speed, get underneath some blocks, extend, make sure guys don't get inside of his chest with their arms, it's when he really is at his best. He can do some things for this defense. I do believe that he's going to be the starter next year in place of Anthony Hitchens. That is just kind of how it almost needs to be, in my opinion. So this is perfect, really good experience for him, learning the green dot, seeing this game with all the miscommunication there is. You have to be able to communicate as the leader, as the green dot of this defense. So he's learning through this failure as well that there are some things you have to learn, some things you have to do, some things that Hitchens has not done. So I'm excited to get into his tape today because I think that we're going to see some things. Yeah, it's a lot of fun to look at and see a young player doing well, and then we're going to obviously take in with a grain of salt some of the problems that have yet to be corrected with Nick Bolton's game. So let's go ahead and jump in. This is the first play of the game, and the Chiefs have done, pretty much waiting around until Baltimore comes out of the huddle. They're going to get, switched around. Here's Nick Bolton on the left side of the defensive formation. Again, trying to get lined up like everybody else. Good job getting downhill, waiting for that football. And then the extension to keep the linebacker, the fullback off of him is really what you want to see coming downhill here. He does a good job because Patrick Ricard is a very good blocker. So right there, you're not really going to see it because even the cameraman gets confused by this angle. So let's go ahead and go back to the beginning. You can get a better shot. We'll kind of skip through it real quick. Right here, when he decides that, he sees Lamar Jackson with the football. When he gets downhill and decides to go, this is where he's at his best. But this is also one of the positions where the Chiefs defense was actually in a good position. You've got, outside contained by Mathieu with a wide receiver. You've got Bolton, who now is going to come here to this fullback, and you have Chris Jones on the inside here. This is all set up well to make it so Lamar can't really escape. And again, they're trying to set these blocks up. So Lamar is going to try to be patient, work along the blocks. And that's where Bolton's going to do his best work here, is he's going to get into Ricard, but extend his arms right there. You see, leaning forward, this right here is what you want from this linebacker, because, Ricard here is trying to do everything to push him forward. So you're going to see a nice solid base, but that lean in, extension on the arms is how you want to combat that, because it helps him most of all to be able to swipe underneath. And when you're engaged like this going forward and trying to get a guy like Lamar Jackson, you have to be at your best. Again, pushing him to the side, realizing that Lamar is now coming up in the middle of the field here, trying to hug close to Ricard. He gets off of him and stops him for a 2-yard gain. That's exactly what you want Nick Bolton to be. And unfortunately, like I said, you're not going to get a great view of it from here because the cameraman got confused on where the ball was. But he does a very good job of getting downhill here and getting to the football, finding Lamar Jackson through the bodies there, and disengaging. An issue he has when tackles, specifically offensive linemen, can get their hands in his chest and they start really to swallow him up. That's when you see Nick Bolton be not so great in the run defense. But again, here, when you see him extend, kind of do a good job of moving his shoulders, keeping his hips free, he can get underneath those blocks, really do a good job of continuing his motion forward and finding the football. So here he is once again. And, Nick Bolton, he's seeing things pretty well. I think that's, for me, indicative of improvement going forward throughout the season. But you can see that he's, finding the football. Look at all this stuff he's trying to figure out. This is the kind of thing. You got two pulling offensive linemen. You have a fake, a jet sweep this way. You've got a running back coming out this way. And then you have Lamar who can double back this way. So he's got to sift through everything. Hitchens is going this way with the jet sweep. Again, you got blocks here. Guys trying to find the football. Nick Bolton does a good job of finding the football, and then having to react to it is the biggest issue going forward. Because here, you see the football, you should pretty much attack it, get downhill. He's just a little slow in that, and that's okay. Because again, look, we've talked about being a rookie, making sure you're in the right spot is very important as well. And Lamar's just so quick. Like he thinks he's going to go out this way, and instead he comes up this way. So again, like if he tries to get downhill this way, look what's going to happen. Like this is what Lamar sees too. He thinks he can get downhill and just go right up the field. That's what he wants to do. Is he wants to get north and south as soon as he can, because he cannot run most people. So again, good job here from Bolton to see the football and get in there to do a much better job of preventing this from being a huge gain, because I think that he probably would have done that, and it would have been probably to the house. I think that this is pretty free here. I know they do a pretty good job of collapsing, but you got cutback lane here, so it would have been dicey. Let's just say that. So yeah, eyes are very important when sifting through all this information. You got polar. You got to see where the ball is. You got to locate. You got to find it. So seeing, reacting, finding those rushing lanes, and seeing the cutback lanes specifically, because guys like Lamar Jackson with that cut and go ability are the most difficult people to plan for. So again, seeing him react and just make sure that Lamar's in front of him, kept him in front of him, is a good thing for him going forward. Seeing the offense maneuver, it's going to help him even more going forward, specifically against teams that don't have this kind of rushing attack, and teams that don't have what Lamar Jackson has. So 97% of the league don't have that kind of speed and electricism. So a very good job seeing it unfold here before we get into this play. Here's Nick Bolton, just so you can actually see what he's doing. This is a smart and good. I think good doesn't really do it justice. It's a much better than good play, because what you want to see from Nick Bolton, again, attacking downhill, we've said this a lot, is get downhill. Like this is where he's best, is up and down the field, north and south. Side to side isn't his game, but again, I think he's getting better in having that patience from moving side to side, and I like to see that he feels more comfortable in his own skin and in this system, which is nice, like I said, to see. So yeah, you want to see get downhill, fight those blocks, and this is where he gets actually really fun. Taking on a puller is not easy for defensive ends. It's not easy for undersized linebackers, if we're being very honest. So quickly here, this is coming right at him with two pullers. You have the running back as well. One thing you want to do, one thing defensive ends specifically too are taught, is to keep that outside edge. Okay, you want to flash out there, force the running back to all your help. So if you can get to the outside with the running back's intentions of doing the same, not only does it slow him down slightly, but you can get him back to the flow. Like all these guys are supposed to be coming back to this hole specifically, and you want to bottle them up right there. So if you just watch him, this whole play is very indicative of what he does very well. Flash to the outside, you've got that flow coming through. Again, it's spaced out, and this is where he does his best work, probably in the whole game almost, in my opinion. There's one more play that we're going to see of him, but this whole, man, this is nice. Like, this is nice to see for a running back, this cutback lane, and Nick Bolton's going to do an excellent job. Come back around and say bye. Says hi. That's the athleticism that you're not going to see on, his profile. He doesn't have that type of athleticism in numbers. That's not what this is. This is game athleticism. And more importantly, it's manipulation. Running backs are taught to manipulate linebackers with attacking gaps as well. And Bolton does the same thing as a running back does in this specific play. It's nice to see this kind of advanced manipulation from a guy here. Again, make him cut to the inside to that help. Stay on the outside again. You see the extension, making sure that that puller cannot get inside of him. He needs that ability to disengage, finds it there, gets back underneath it, and is able to stop him for a very short gain. Help him on the way too. So a lot of good stuff right there from Nick Bolton, and it's so important that we take some time to acknowledge that he's a rookie and coming from a Missouri team that switched defenses last year and before was a different defense. So this is his third defense in 3 years, learning a lot of different things, learning this whole defense, and learning some of the green dot, some of the Sam responsibilities, some of the Will responsibilities. He's learning a lot of different stuff. It's important for me to have to remember that he's doing that. So it's nice to see this level of understanding and noticing, this specific play, it's going to come this way. He's seen it on tape. He knows they're pulling this way. They have guys on the backside to stop Lamar if this is where he's going to end up going with it. But no, he knows this is his job. He can stop this, gets upfield, does a very, very, very solid job in run defense here. That's where he's flashed the most, in run defense. That's never been a secret. This is where the inconsistencies hold for me. And you're going to find it right here. This whole play is really kind of showing you what Ryan and I have told you about Nick Bolton, because he doesn't have this type of athleticism. But this, for me, is a little bit more confusing here. As he's locating this receiver, he doesn't attempt to widen. He doesn't attempt to get into the throwing lane where there's no help. I know that he's confused about where he's supposed to be going and who the ball is going to. He's looking the other way. He flips around trying to find the space, and it's too late by the time he gets to his spot. And then after, it's just kind of a mess. He just looks uncomfortable, like he's falling over himself. He doesn't really know where to go, and that's the problem with getting behind the sticks here. Again, that play action fake puts you in a world of hurt. This is not what you want to see with guys going full speed. Coming full speed. This is a lot of space to work with. So, again, they have to be better at stopping the run consistently, but you also have to remember that this offense is very, very good and very, very run efficient, very run oriented. So, trying to locate the football, trying to locate where the receivers are, trying to find your spot on the field all at the same time, it left Nick looking very confused and very out of place. That's the unfortunate part about this, because I think that he's going to get better in coverage. I think that this is, these types of passes, these play action passes with the Ravens specifically are going to confuse anybody. And again, he got sucked up a little bit, which you expect from a lot of people. Recognizing that play action pass is not always going to be the easiest thing to do. And then getting back into your spot, reversing course, and finding where the football is going to go, it's not easy to do. So, again, week 2, and Nick Bolton has not been good in coverage, which is obvious. I think that's been one of the biggest issues of his game so far, because, again, I think in the run game, flashes, he's getting to the right spots. The knowledge is there, so now it's about getting comfortable and confident in coverage, and he hasn't had a good play in coverage yet, so that's not helping his own confidence, which will come eventually. Again, here he is on the top part of your linebacker screen. And this is all the biggest problem with the Chiefs defense on Sunday night. Communication. You see Nick Bolton and Anthony Hitchens both went to the same player, and it's not good. So I want you to watch two things at once if you can. Tyrann Mathieu, and then you have these two linebackers, okay? The communication's not there. And if you can, do your best to just kind of pay attention as this unfolds right here. We'll slow it down so you can actually see what happens. The communication's gone. Anthony Hitchens doesn't communicate. He follows the player that, Bolton is on, and Matthew's forced to then come over to Mark Andrews all the way over on the other side of the field. So it's not the best thing to see. And again, not even Matthew's communicating here, because he's trusting the green dot of the defense to communicate to the rookie linebacker that, look, I'm going to come here. You go with Mark Andrews across the field, because you got him coming and you got him going. and not one person here, or here picks it up. And that's the biggest part of the Chiefs defense that was missing from Sunday night. There was no communication. People were left and right, no communication in the run game, no communication in the passing game. It was a big problem. And again, this isn't on Nick Bolton specifically, but it's more of a problem with maybe, I don't know his exact responsibility. So in this case, maybe he's supposed to actually be on that side. Maybe this is him just taking the running back because he thinks he's going to come wide open because no one's going to go after him. But again, as the green dot of this defense, Hitchens, he's got a big no-no. He's staring at Lamar Jackson. So he's staring him down, okay? But he's not looking at his eyes. His eyes are out here this way, okay? No, yeah, yes, they're not at the running back. So ends up running with him because he thinks he's going to throw the ball this way. It's not what ends up happening, obviously. So again, the communication, and right here is where the big problem is, because he's not looking at his eyes. Like I said, he's looking at his body language. He's running here, like his eyes are over here. Why are we running this way with the running back, and Bolton's already chasing down the running back? So it's a problem. Communication's got to get better. They know that. Again, week 2. All of this is going to get better as the season goes along. But this right here is the bright spot for Nick Bolton. He's fast. Not only is he fast, the click and close, but like the decision making. When he can see something happen and he can just allow himself to go downhill. Again, get in here. Another one of those plays where the running back is coming. You got 2 blockers coming at him too. Like this is coming. And he's just going to run right behind him. Like, this is where he makes his money. It's where he's done a great job, Get underneath that. Come across the blocker. Don't take him on full step. And use your sideline athleticism, your speed, and your quickness to make them pay for this kind of stuff. Like, that's a lot of fun. So, again, I think that Nick Bolton is clearly got some deficiencies. That's not an issue. Like, he's going to have a lot of those missteps. He's a rookie, but this is the bright spot for him. He can be a force in the run game. If this defensive front and everybody behind him can get better communication, if they can get off the ball better, if they can be more physically, dominant, they can be stout at the point of attack, Nick Bolton is going to pile up some tackles in the run game because, again, when you can see what's happening and you can just attack downhill, he does an excellent job of doing that consistently, and he's going to make plays in the NFL doing it for quite a while. I truly believe that this is where, right now, he's going to make the most of his playing time. Get Willie Gay out there, and all 3 of them, I think that makes them all better. It's not going to drastically improve the run defense, but it's going to make them better, and it's going to give them confidence because at the end of the day, like, that's just as important as anything else that they do on this field. It's getting confidence. It's playing with the mentality that you can out-physical somebody, which the first 2 games on defense, they've been out-physical for 6 out of 8 quarters. The 2 quarters against the Cleveland Browns, where they were much better than they were, is the only quarters they have. So again, Nick Bolton, bright spot. He's an excellent tackler in open field too, something that I didn't, goes unnoticed for me, and that was very, very nice to see in the Browns game, tackling some guys in the open field here, getting downhill, underneath some blocks, doing a good job all around just to, be a better seer of the football and noticing that it's coming. So I thought there was a lot of positives from this game. The coverage stuff, it's going to all get ironed out. It'll be a little bit better. They're going to do a better job of putting him in a position to succeed, because having to come down on a play action pass and then back the other way, it's not his strong suit. So I'm looking forward to seeing what he's going to do. One thing I want you guys to do, let's move on to Sunday, all right? So in the comment section, who is your most important defensive player for the Sunday game against the Los Angeles Chargers? What do you think is going to happen in terms of that player? What are they going to do? They're going to get interceptions, lots of tackles for losses, sacks. That's here. I want to hear what you guys think is going to happen on Sunday with some of your favorite defensive players. You guys, hope you enjoyed this. I hope it gave you a little bit of confidence about Nick Bolton going into not just this game, but again, into the future. Have a great day.
Thanks for watching this video from the team at RGR Football. Click these videos to see more and subscribe to RGR Football.